The lighting's not great again. I might try a different room next week. Okay. I was trying to hide the chat stuff. I can't hide it. Like make it zoom in a bit. It's kind of covering half of the screen, but anyway. So hi, hello, welcome to the stream. At the moment, I'm doing the streams 2 p.m. on Thursdays. That might change actually in the new year, back to evening time, but we'll see. So welcome. If you'd like to ask any questions during the stream, then you have to either write it in the chat or you can send them to me through Skype, and my Skype address is Rebekah Maroon. So feel free to friend me on Skype, and then you can either call in and you can speak on the stream to me, or you can write your question out on Skype and I can read it for you. Yeah. So I couldn't think of a title at the last hour, so yeah, so I've just called it non-duality. I've just called it non-duality. So I'll just go into it. I'll just start. So, oh God! Oh, my advent calendar just fell off the shelf. Okay. So, obviously, I have no idea who watches this video. So I'll just speak as if you're just hearing this. You've just discovered this video and you want to watch it and listen to it. So, non-duality. So, oh my So, if you've just discovered this subject, by the way, welcome, 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 confetti, welcome, jazz hands, welcome. This is an amazing subject, a really radically, beautifully subject. So welcome. From the bottom of my heart, welcome to this subject. It's really amazing. It's really amazing how it works or how it happens. So, so the way it normally feels, the way it normally is experienced is that you exist, that you are a person, you have this storyline, you have these memories, these scripts you often repeat about who you are. if I say, who are you? You probably say, I'm this person, I'm my name, I am my culture, I'm my gender or my sex, I am my responsibilities, my job, I am where I live, I am my community, my nationality. You'd say all these things. I like this, don't like that. I've been through this experience. I feel like this. I believe in this. I think that. That's who you would probably respond and answer to the question is, who are you? Who are you? You'd give that kind of information. And that isn't just information, probably. It feels like that's actually who you are. That's actually a somebody. That is actually a person. That's who you are without question. But what's being spoken about in non-duality is that all of that information, all of that stuff you feel to be who you are, isn't who you are. That isn't who you are. That isn't who you are. And you could really leave it at that. Like, that could be like the whole talk could be just that. The whole description of this could be as simple as that. That person who you feel yourself to be isn't true, isn't who you are. And the question then might come up as, well, then who am I then? But the answer is also in that, because in saying what you're not, in saying you aren't that person, that character, that belief, that feeling, that memory, that nationality, that whatever it is, that whole bundle of who you think you are, in just saying that that isn't who you are, the answer of what you are is actually already there. You aren't that. You aren't that. It's this radical nakedness. This radical nakedness. So we could really leave it at that, at this radical nakedness. Or you could say not knowing, or whatever you want to call it. Not that. Like, what's looking now? What's looking now isn't a person, isn't a sex, isn't a gender, isn't anything, isn't a parent or not parent, or a bank manager, or jobs, cleaner, or whatever it is. Isn't somebody British, or somebody African, or somebody Canadian, or somebody from New Zealand, somebody who likes chocolate or doesn't like crisps or eats healthy. That isn't what's looking. That isn't what's looking. Your storyline. Your thoughts aren't looking. Your interpretations and feelings aren't looking. There is a total freedom here. A total emptiness, a total nakedness here. And this is what is, you could say, universal, as in often we're trying to make this oneness, this universalness in through the character, so through the differences. We want us all to hold hands and unite around the world, but through being a separate person, which is really impossible. There's so much difference and variation. The only way that could really happen, this love train of unity, is through this recognition of what we are beyond the difference. This nakedness of what we are beyond the differences, beyond the forms, beyond the characters and the humans and all these different things. This is where wholeness is. This is where wholeness is. This is where true unity is. There is no separation. There isn't a me and a you and a them and an us. That only appears in form, that only appears in our ability to separate and identify and group things together. But all of our suffering comes from that. Not from the ability to do that. That's part of our human brain ability. This wonderful tool we have called the brain. It can group and divide and see difference and all of that. The suffering is in believing that energetically to be true, being like sucked into that as truth, where it feels as if you are a limitation, you are someone looking out. You're a separate me, a separate person, and the other is a separate person. That's where conflict is. I mean, in that there'll always be some kind of conflict because there is a seeming difference, there is a seeming me and a seeming you. So the potential for disagreement is always going to be there as a natural thing, but this heavy identification with it, this heavy truth to it, this heavy hatred in it, this contraction of energy in it, is the suffering of it. So what's being pointed out is this seeming you that feels that it exists as a separate person isn't true. Like, it appears, but it's not true. And this is the difference. It appears, but it's not true. It's not a denial of the form, a denial of the seeming separation, the seeming objects, the seeming characters with their differences, but it's not true. It's not really who we are or what this really is. It's an appearance. It's an appearance. And the appearance can't really be enjoyed. Not really while you're identified with it. There can be pleasures, but it can't really be enjoyed for what it is. While you believe that's true, while there is a you, while there is this sense of you, this sense of truth to it. And so what seems to happen is this releasing of that holding on. Identification is that there's a seeming release of that energetically. A release of that limitation. 'Cause, 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 'cause And that, I would say, is freedom. Freedom doesn't mean things don't happen. Doesn't mean it's high pleasure all the time. It's not about pleasure and pain. It's a freedom beyond that. Beyond the dualistic opposites. There's a freedom regardless of what's appearing. If it's pain, it's pain. Pleasure, it's pleasure. But there's an inherent freedom in that which isn't limited to form. That which is form and not form. That which is empty and full. That which is all and nothing. Not a thing. So this is spoken about. This is pointed out and spoken about. And there may be resonance with that. Meaning there may be this resonance with that may be resonating. And it resonates beyond the understanding of it. There's a resonance beyond that. So the mind may be chewing on things that have been spoken, repeating them, arguing with them, agreeing with them. But there's resonance beyond that. That is simply resonating. It's simply here. It's simply free. Simply free. So we could leave it there. We could leave it there. Or we could speak more. We could speak more. We could go on to describe identification with mind, how this momentum, this mental energy, in its momentum of seeking, seeking to find something, seeking to find something, some object, whether it be a physical object, so a slower vibration, or a faster vibration, a thought, a concept, an idea. It always wants to have something. It wants to add something on. It's uncomfortable and it feels as if it's missing something. So it's seeking in time, trying to find something in the future. Trying to arrive at some point. And through describing that, maybe there can be a resonance with that as well, like a seeing of that. Endless looking for something else. The uncomfortability. And the belief that there is something to attain. If you just learn enough, if you just know enough, if you watch enough and listen enough. But none of that is true. We as in human, identify with this thinking mind. We identify with time. Identify with thoughts. And this idea of them leading somewhere in time, this movement. And so there's suffering and a belief that more time will help relieve that suffering. Oh, sorry, I was going to whereas that's a dream. That's not true. But there's so many stories in it. There's so many identifications in it. There's so much energy attached to those concepts, to those ideas, to those memories, to those voices in the head. There's so much attachment to it. And the main attachment is to this I, to this person, to this me. You believe so strongly that this me is me. This me, this I is actually I. It's what I am. We believe it so strongly and so deeply, beyond just in the head, but actually we feel this sense of I, this sense of me. And it feels so strong, so true, as if I've been walking around, I've been living 30, 40 years, 50, 60 years. So it feels so familiar and so true, so real. And this is the burden that humans carry, this sense of I, this sense of me being alive and real in time for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, the burden and the heaviness of it. Whereas what's being spoken about, it is so radically free, it's so here, it always has been, it can't not be. What changes is this story of you that gets older, this story of you, seemingly. But it's not true. So the body ages, it changes. And we believe that's who we are. We're a journeyer with the body. We've gone through these years with the body all this time. That's who we are. But actually, in this moment right now, like there isn't somebody who's come through time. There's just this spontaneous happening, this spontaneous freedom, expressing itself as everything, expressing itself as all things appearing. It's such a challenging thing to hear and comprehend. Because everything you think you know and you think you have belongs in that bundle, that dream, belongs in that dream of not true. This is it. This is it. This is where life happens. In this moment, life is happening here. The rest of it is just a story. We tell ourselves, we tell others the story. But it can only happen here. Tomorrow happens here. Here. That's all there ever is. Here. What is. And this is the resonance. This is the freedom. Not in the I know, I don't know. Here. What is. What is. What is. Okay. So you're more than welcome to speak, to call through Skype, to message through Skype. Either you speak it out or I shall. Just put my Skype on. I've not had a call in a while, so it'd be nice to have a call and to speak about it rather than read about it. It'll be nice to speak. Openness. Hi, Kwabena. Happy to jump on a call if you'd like. Yeah, you can call in. Let me just make sure my yeah, you can call in.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh, great, you're talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can do no camera. Let me do no camera if you prefer.
Yeah, I was just like literally lying in bed and
Okay.
caught this live, thankfully. So yeah, I'm still off camera.
Okay. In your pajamas.
Well, you can stay on if you want. Yeah, thanks a lot for sharing what you shared. I've been following your videos for a number of years, actually. I mean, I've not seen every single one, but the ones I've come onto have always been really liberating.
Yeah.
And on this topic of on what you shared today, I just had this thought, and I was wondering basically whether there is something that expresses itself like through everything, because sometimes in non-duality teachings there is this idea that there is some pure state, which is separate from all the appearances, which is experiencing everything through the appearances. But to me, recently anyway, it seems as though there isn't anything other than the appearances, and the appearances themselves is exactly that. Is exactly what needs to be seen. So rather than having to experience something pure or something like separate from all of this, it's really just coming into this fully and seeing that there's nothing other than this flow of life itself, the movement of life itself. And just seeing that the flow of life itself is unrestricted, so it's not like it's not sticking to any me or to any story in particular. There's nothing in particular that I am which like experiences or lives through all of this stuff. It's just there's no particularity. There's just what is. And to me, that seems to me to be it's a difference. I'm kind of rambling, but that was the thought I had. That sometimes there can be this idea that there's something pure, and because I went through this for many years, while I was trying to, experience consciousness. I was trying to experience like my true self with a capital S, that sort of thing. And I just realized at some point that activity itself was creating all the tension, and just by releasing all of that, by not trying to be anything in particular, everything just it becomes whole. And it's not whole because there is a wholeness, but it's whole because there isn't a particularity. There isn't anything being anything in particular. And so it's almost as if there is a whole, but I can't say there is a whole. Like I can't point to a whole. But all I know is that there isn't anything in particular that is happening. But yeah, it's an interesting thing. But you put everything so well, and yeah, I wanted to come on just to show my appreciation for a number of years. I've been following you, just I've been binge watching, as they say. Not saying anything, but I just wanted to express my thanks, I guess.
Lovely. That's lovely. Because the mind will always objectify things. It always will have an idea of what something is as a thing. So it's going to objectify emptiness as a thing, or wholeness into a thing, an object. It can't do anything other than do that. So it's going to always do that. So it can't be true. It can't be what it's being spoken about, because it isn't something. It isn't an idea or a belief or an object. It's nothing to do with that. The mind can't grasp this. It's beyond it.
Yeah. Sometimes when I try to find my mind, I can't find it.
Again, it's not a thing, an object. It's not a thing.
It's so different to when I was really looking and studying this stuff really intensely. It was as if I was going somewhere. Like something is happening. I'm going somewhere. I'm going to catch something. And there were moments of that. So there'll be times where something just opens, and then the mind will wrap it up in a story and say, like there's progress. I am progressing. I am becoming more spiritual. I am losing my ego. And in a way, that's probably what's happening. But at some point, it's seen that from the very beginning, there was nothing to do. And nothing was actually out of place. And all the effort did not do anything really. Because from the very beginning of starting point A to B, at point A, everything was already free there. So even going to point B, that there was nothing had changed from point A to point B. It's just there's
but also like even the idea of there being a point A and a point B, and there's someone traveling between the 2 points, is also part of that dream. It's also not true. But if that happened, that's what's happening, is moving towards a point B, but all of it isn't actually true anyway. But it appears to be that way. There appears to be a story of progression, of moving, of change. It's just the way it appears for humans with our language and our thoughts, our thinking. It is in this seeming changefulness. It gives the impression of a growth and an aging and a maturing and stuff, but it's actually not true. It's just a part of our functioning. And the suffering is that being believed, that story of someone being believed and owned and lived through. But it isn't a choice that no one chooses to do that. It's just what happens. You can't choose to do it or not to do it. It's just what's happening. But the freedom comes in that shift or that change, where it's no longer someone doing that. There's no longer a dream of someone doing that.
Yeah, it's so interesting because I remember a while ago when I started to see this more and more, I would have it would go away when I slept. So when I slept and I woke up, there would be a sense that I had to practice my way back into it. So there was that act of efforting. There was a stage where that was kind of necessary, it seems. And even now, I think sometimes, like when I'm working or I'm doing something very heavily into a certain activity or something, there's just a sense that I feel tight or tense in a way, and then I have to sit down and just relax. But and so there was that sense of practicing or doing something.
But even all that tension and relaxing and trying to deal with that, like non-duality, it really isn't like about like the human experience. It isn't really about that. I mean, it is, but it isn't. Like what's being spoken about is beyond that. So even the tension, the not tension, that is just part of the being a human. And you can do things to help, like say sit down or try and do things to help that. But what's being spoken about is freer than that. It's freer than anything, any feeling or behavior or form. It's freer than any of that. So of course, as a human, you say go meditate, do this, relax, go and deal with your feelings or energy. But non-duality actually is free regardless of the human condition or the human feeling or the human idea or the human thought of what's better and what's not better. It's radically free. So you can't really practice this. As a human, you practice things to help you as a human, but you can't practice non-duality. You can't practice seeing this, or you can't practice it or work your way towards it. That's the human dream.
Yeah, that makes sense. No way. I know for me, something that really helped was coming across the term non-meditation. And this was a few years ago.
Right.
And it was a practice that was done in like in certain teachings of Tibetan Buddhism. And they had this idea that the highest meditation is non-meditation. And it wasn't until I came across, I don't know, when I came across that, it changed things, because I realized I just had to sit, I just be nothing, or stop trying to create something. Stop trying to create a state and just.
It's already there. It's already there.
And then something else just releases. It's like it self-releases itself. And it releases itself into openness, and that openness can't be put into a shape. And then you're just there shapeless. And then,
just to say again, like just to say that openness is already there. You can't like become that or loosen into that. It's already there. It's this dream of you not being there, of you being something limited, you being here in the body as someone trying to or not trying to. It's pointing to what already is whole and free. It's beyond our comprehension as humans. It's always about us and us getting it, us moving to, us becoming it. It's already free. So you often hear, well, then what do I do? What do then I do? This is the human dilemma. What do I do then? It's already there, already free and complete, whole. What do I do? And this is the uncomfortability of being human, this sense of I am someone independent who gets to choose what to do or not to do. Oh, hey. It's really a radical freedom. That is looking out.
It's really fun, and it's such an interesting discovery to even. It's like the human can never imagine that such a thing is possible, like such a level of peace or like something, such a freedom is possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. It's like a magicalness. It's so magic. Like it's wow.
And it's uncreatable.
Yeah.
But but I've been following your stuff for about at least 3 years, I'd say.
Yeah.
And it's helped a lot.
Oh.
And so I don't know why I came on, but I just came on.
Yeah.
And thanks a lot for all you put out.
You're welcome.
Definitely makes a difference.
Yeah.
It makes a huge difference.
Oh, that's lovely. It's really lovely. Thank you for expressing that.
All right, take care.
Okay.
I'll probably be on again at some point.
All right. Okay. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, that's so nice. I've got a low battery. Let's see. 20 minutes left. Yeah. What a beautiful subject. What a beautiful subject. I'll leave it here, just in case. When we're younger, we kind of have this, well, we haven't lost this connection to this magic. And as we get older, we they say we lose that magicalness. We get like lost in adulting and forget that that beauty, that mystery, that magic. Things become real and set and form and hard and permanent. And this is like rediscovering that. Rediscovering it. Hi. Hey, Rebekah, I really enjoy the spaces and silence in your talks. I'm just wondering if you could say anything about silence and how it relates to this message. Thank you. How it relates to this message. Like, don't know if it relates to it, but I feel like expressing, like, if I was a true non-duality speaker, I wouldn't say anything at all. I wouldn't say anything if I was a true non-duality speaker. I would keep quiet, not say anything. Like, what can you say? But then you could say, I would say everything at the same time. I'd say everything and I would say nothing. Maybe you enjoy the silence and space because, like, it's stopping the mind. So, like, it's pointing to the emptiness. And so the mind either stops or it keeps talking, but there's this spaciousness like beyond it, and there's a resonance. So when you first get into this kind of message, or even spirituality in general, there's this approach of, no, non-duality mostly, but this approach of like, not this, not that thought, not this feeling. There's an approach of like stopping everything. You're taking everything away, not this, not that. And it's trying to point out that these forms, these things, these thoughts and beliefs and feelings don't mean anything. They aren't true, or they aren't what you are. That can often be like the first part of this unraveling, is pointing beyond things, beyond ideas, beyond feelings, beyond thoughts. This emptiness that isn't moving, not making a sound. But then at some point, there's this allowing it all to come back, the feelings, the thoughts, the ideas, the activity, the thinking. And then the seeing that it doesn't matter what is there, that is also it. It's totally silent, but it's also screaming and talking. It's totally still, but also moving, formless and form. And so there's this total collapsing into the experience. So initially there's a moving away from, not a denial of, but just like a ignoring or a not seeing through them. And then there's this, oh, they also are this. They also are this total merging into them until there's no separation. It's not you watching anything, watching thoughts, not me. You fully submerge into everything until you disappear. This sense of you disappears. It doesn't always happen that way, but I can imagine for lots of people it happens that way. This emptiness first, then the fullness. For some it's fullness first, then the emptiness. They're so attached to all the things. But who knows? I don't know. Yeah, so maybe it's that resonance with that emptiness part. That peace from the chattering mind. That peace from the seemingly disturbing forms, which at some point you have to fall in love with. There's no escaping feeling and thoughts. That's an endless spiritual pursuit, to be blank and free of all feelings and thoughts. Believing thoughts and feelings are the problem, and they aren't. They're total love appearing as that. Total love appearing as thoughts and feelings. The problem is it's this sense of I that has them. They're about me. They're about me. And I have to deal with them. Thank you for your question. I don't want to say your name, to be honest. I have a speech impediment. I stammer, and your name's quite a stammering kind of name for me. So I'm reluctant to say your name. I'm sorry. You're welcome. Oops. Okay, so I'm going to go. I'm going to do the school run in 15 minutes. I'm not a big fan of my name anyway. Oh, it's a lovely name. I just tend to get stuck on it. I don't mind having speech difficulties. Obviously, they affect me. But yeah, sometimes I just don't want to deal with stuttering sometimes. Yeah. And cluttering. Yeah. My neurodivergent brain. Neurodiverse brain. Anyway. Okay, so thank you for calling in. It's nice to have a call for the questions. I really love to speak about this. This freedom isn't contained. It's free. It's free. The birthright of every seeming form. And I say seeming form because it's seemingly a form. It's not true. It's not true. Okay. So thank you for joining. See you next time. Bye.